I moved to Jersey in 1984. In those days, I couldn't seem to save my life. I really couldn't. I first broke into singing when I was night porter and also night manager at the Ocean Hotel. And one of the guests had a birthday and they said to me, just out of the blue, get up and sing happy birthday. I said, I can't do that. Anyway, I did it. I enjoyed it. The stage name actually came into being when I worked at the Ocean Hotel, where it actually came from. I mean, Steve Ocean didn't sound right, but Stevie Ocean did. Stephen Michael Levy, aka Stevie Ocean. That's what goes on all my forms because I don't hide anything. I mean, I got on the James Wells show literally in 2 days. They couldn't believe it. They were playing the tape in the office continuously. 10.5 million people watched the James Wells show that week I was on. It was incredible. And I don't know if it was down. Possibly because there was actually a name check in The Guardian, which Simon Brawley phoned me up and told me about. There was a name check in The Guardian that said there was the world whistling champion and Jersey singer Stevie Ocean. Baz Bamin Boy, who was with him, who works for the Sunday Mail on Sunday, when we were talking outside, when we got a taxi to go, he turned around and said to me, no, he said, you're going to go far. Well, basically, I looked upon it as something that I'd wanted to do for a very, very long time. It wasn't just appearing on the show, that wasn't the thing. It was seeing my name on the credits at the end of it. I've waited 11.5 years to see that. And that is a feeling that I can't explain to you. I laid there and watched it. And when it came to the end of the show, there was tears rolling down my face because I'd waited so long to see my name on the credits. And it had actually happened, and I'd actually done it without any help from anybody. To sum that part up in a nutshell, I think what James saw, he saw something in me that took time and nurtured and took time to come out. There was talents in me. I mean, you don't notice what you're able to do yourself. Well, in actual fact, people will think that once you appear on TV, that you become a millionaire overnight. Well, that's not the case. I don't think that you really appreciate winning until you lose. 2.5 years of my life had just been completely wiped out by what had happened to me. I was involved in an accident. I was hit from behind while I was stationary, just up the road from where I live, because that's the usual way accidents happen. I was not even moving. All of a sudden, there was an almighty bang, and I didn't know what it was. All I knew, I couldn't move. The other car hit me doing between 30 and 40 miles an hour. Got damage to my neck, which can't be repaired. I was seriously hurt. It was a woman driver. She just didn't see me. She just did not see me. There was a crowd of people in a very, very short time. If you don't get an audience there in 30 seconds, you're finished. You might as well walk off. It was a nightmare. I just didn't know what was happening to me. I really didn't. I was actually going to be operated on and it was called off at the last minute. I was in a lot of pain, which I mean all the time, but I don't really want to discuss that aspect. I've got TENS machines, which are used in pregnancy. It's on full blast all the time, and literally to have 18 volts going through you, which is more than a car battery. I mean, there's no way I can go out on you know, when it rains or anything, because I get belts from it. I literally get belts. I mean, it really does give you a belt. I'm going to be taught how to live with it. That's why I'm on the. I've actually managed to achieve going on a pain management course at the pain clinic at the hospital, and many thanks to Percival Jones and to Gloria and to my physiotherapist Eileen. But there again, as they said to me and as I said to them, if you don't help yourself, nobody can help you. Before this accident, I was totally physically fit. I mean, I'd never been to the hospital. I had no x-rays and nothing. Well, I used to pick up speakers that weigh 200 or 300 pounds and pick them up like they weighed nothing and put them on the stands. I used to live on those. Chickens, whole chickens.
Whole chickens?
Whole chicken and chips I would have. Demolish it. It's not bragging. I was extremely strong. Over the last 2.5 years, I felt like 104, but we're getting over that. We are getting over that aspect. It's only because of the personality and strength of my personality and strength of mind, strong will, that I'm here. Because I wouldn't be here. I mean, anybody else who'd gone through what I've gone through would have killed themselves. And my doctor told me this. Well, I mean, this is welcome to my little home. In fact, it's more like a home than a room. I've been here now for getting on for 6 years in this room. It's a nice room. I mean, it'll be decorated very shortly when certain things arrive from the UK, which eventually they will. I mean, I've been on the island for getting on for 15 years now. And the fallacy of, I mean, I'm not rich, all right, yes, I wear jewellery and all the rest of it, yes, and it's all real, I can assure you. It's all insured as well, so I'd like to make that quite clear. These are things that I've worked very hard for. They haven't been given to me. Nothing's actually been given to me on a plate. Every single thing I've worked for. Here, we've got Caroline and Mark on their wedding day. I was best man at the wedding and actually arranged the whole wedding. This is my brother-in-law, who used to be a crew to the Queen Mother. There's my brother, who works for British Airways. There's a picture of my cousin there, who I've never met, but she works at Stringfellows in London. And I'm a member of QVC, and Cara Tritton very kindly sent me a personal signed autograph photograph, and there's one there from Julia Roberts, not the Julia Roberts, but the other Julia Roberts. My family knew Mike and Bernie Winters, and so I knew people in the business. I mean, but my mother knows Barbara Windsor very well. She's a good friend of hers, and she met her many years ago. I think before, when I was very, very small, when she stood on the foot of the bus stop. You wanted to hear the mouth. Well, I'm not going to say that for TV. There's no way that I'm going to say what she said, because there's more dots and dashes. Well, welcome to the top of the world. This is Fort Regent in the centre of St Helier in Jersey. There's the Crazy Golf over there where I used to work. I used to manage the Crazy Golf section. It looks a bit different when I was there, but all the modifications and changes that have been done were things that I wanted at the time. We've just gone past Elton John's house, and that's I couldn't let you film because it's a secret. I'm one of the very few people who knows that Elton John has bought a house over here.
How do you know that?
I was told.
Why?
I can't tell you. There are some things that I cannot mention. This is more than my life is worth, you know. But these people I mean, I've met Phil Collins, and I've met people like that, and Richard Branson, and these are friends of mine. I believe in UFOs. I've seen them. And I've seen genuine UFOs. These are not figments of my imagination. They are real. They do exist. For anybody to turn around and say we're the only intelligent beings on this planet, in the whole of the universe or the solar system or wherever, is ridiculous. Jersey's got the strongest sun rays, the strongest sun rays in the world. I don't know if people know about this, but this is a known fact. It's because the island is small and it's mirrored by water, the intensity is in fact doubled.
Right.
So the heat from that sun is very, very intense, and it's mirrored off the sea as well. So you get double the intensity, and this is why even on a cloudy, overcast day on this island, you can get sunstroke very, very easily. Basically, there's lots of things in here. As you can see, I do collect. I'm definitely a Trekkie. I like things like that. Things of value and things of interest, things that will increase in value over the years. Hobbies, God, I mean, how long have we got?
Try and make it snappy.
I'll make it as snappy as possible. I like reading when I get occasions to. I like doing competitions and quizzes, puzzles. When I get a chance to. I mean, I haven't read anything for quite some time, but I do like things like, what's the name? One of the bestsellers, Daniel Steele. It's quite a big room, but for what I've got in it, it's a lot. I mean, this is a double room. It's for 2 people, and there's no way that 2 people could live in this. It's impossible. There'd be nowhere. I mean, there's full of suits in there. I can't even show you. There's 24 suits in there. I counted up my shirts the other day, and I've got 160 shirts. I've got shoes that you can't see. I've got, I mean, men usually have, what, 1-2 pairs of underpants? I've got 75 pairs of pants. I've got 85 pairs of socks. I mean, I can go on. Whatever job that I did to the best of my ability. And even when I was promoted outside to hall porter at the Atlantic, I was so fast at washing dishes, 140 dishes I could wash in a minute, literally. And they had 5 people stacking them because they just couldn't cope with it. That I was called back into the kitchen at Christmas time to cope because nobody could do it. I've got an IQ of 122. Haven't made Mensa, unfortunately. It's 140 to 148, I believe. But bearing in mind that I haven't done it recently, I mean, I'm just trying to get myself back together again. I do take part in lots of competitions, and I do win. So the knowledge is there. I took part in a competition also, which was multiple answers. You had to get 50 questions right, and if you got 50 right, you won £50,000. I got 49 right, and I got sent a beautiful solid gold pen, and as a letter saying that literally nobody had ever got that close, and to try again. And I was on the phone for it, and it was multiple answers to these questions, and you didn't have time to think or look up anything. That's it. As we look around the decor here, this is really something else. I mean, this place, the actual decor of this place is absolutely magnificent. In fact, there's no relation, but he does look a bit like me. He's got my eyes anyway, and he's also got a lack of hair up there, as you can see. There is a sort of similarity. Well, but it's definitely not me. It's definitely not, even though we put moustache on that, and the eyes are similar. I left school at 15 and 3 months. I had no qualifications whatsoever. Now, I mean, I've got an IQ of 122. I mean, I speak 6 languages now. I've done it all myself. I speak fluent Portuguese, read and write, and I've learnt 5 other languages from that. And literally, all this has made me into the person that I am today. So, what do you want me to say? I mean...
I'm Stevie Ocean. I used to be a murderer.
El nome é Stevie Ocean. É o profissional actor para BBC Bergerac. Muitos anos antes, agora é terminada. Isto place Victoria College, escola para grandes pessoas para Jersey. Isto muito, muito boa.
That was great. Bravo! And what are the other 5? Is it other 5?
Yeah, but they're not fluent as such. I mean, I can say Italian, Spanish, German, and also, excuse me just a moment, Spanish, German, French. Oh man, I've got to get this right now because I haven't done it for sure. They're all written down on on the resume. In the Russian, you want to be like something like Gospodanya.
What's that? So my name is Stevie Ocean, and the languages that you know?
Not in Russian, I can't. No, in French, mes amis, le nom or le Stevie Ocean, No, that's it. That's it. See, I haven't used the languages for a long time. I mean, I can say different things in these different languages, but I'm not fluent. I mean, I watch a lot of German satellite TV and I understand it all, but to actually have a full conversation is impossible. I did tell you that you would have no problem. I wouldn't need a script. Not necessary. Even though I've never performed in the West End, everybody in the West End knows me or knows of me, and has done for quite a few years. The trouble with show business is that you're yesterday's news. If something like that happens, you're finished. The majority of people in show business use Jersey as a stepping stone. Even the Beatles used to work, and Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones have all been here. Everybody in show business has been over here at a certain time. People that are now famous, like Bradley Walsh, he worked over here. Everybody thought he was rubbish. Some people have had to make their mark outside the UK before they've been recognised. The Beatles did it. They had to go to Hamburg and work their guts out. People like Mickey Zaney, who you may have heard of, may not have heard of, and he always used to say that he was nobody in the UK, but when he comes to Jersey, he was someone. Every artist travels. Every artist travels, and you could say every artist travels for probably 6 to 8 months of the year. And they get a sort of respite of about 3 or 4 months when they've got time to come back home and take heed of things and sort of relax and get back into normal way of life, and then following that, then back out again. But as far as actually living in Jersey, believe it or not, it's not as far out the way as you might think it is, because I know what's going on in the West End of London. I get the stage every week. I know what's happening. I mean, I learned the business by watching people who've been in the business a lot longer than me, watching TV. I used to crucify numbers for the sheer hell of it, and used to love doing it. And it takes a lot of technique to learn how to do this sort of thing. Well, you're only going to get chopsticks out of me because I can't do that. I like chopsticks, is good. Hang on, I'm just there. Was able to do with my voice what Les Dawson was able to do with the piano, and it used to raise thousands of pounds for underprivileged and handicapped children, and it was all in good fun. Unfortunately, this thing stuck to me like glue. Didn't do me any favours. I was doing it for the sheer fun of it, and it was a way of relaxing before doing a real main gig, and it was something that I enjoyed doing immensely, and people really and truly thought that I couldn't sing. This was the attitude. I even used to joke about it, and we used to do this. There used to be a Stevie Ocean survival kit, which was one of my autographed photographs and 2 pieces of cotton wool. None of the people at the Jersey Arts Monday Club knew that I could sing. None of them. I kept it a closely guarded secret. Back in '87, in front of 1,000 people, I got up and performed. Nobody in that room had heard me perform. Seriously, only joking. And when I got out there and I went and I sang, I've got, what was it? With a little help from my friends, it brought the house down. I mean, there was people there, artists, who sort of, we mess around, because you're allowed to mess around as well. Their jaws hit the table. They just didn't know what to say. And I literally had 1,000 people on their feet. I'm the sort of person, whatever I did, I always put 100% effort into it. If I could put extra 50%, I'd put that in as well. When I was doing cabaret, I found that, if I just stick this here, I found that, I mean, I was sweating one night in the Norfolk Hotel in Columbia, and that sweat was pouring, and I had a temperature of 102. And I turned around and I said to the manager, I said, could you get me a paracetamol? He said, you all right? I said, no, I'll go up there and do it. I had the flu, but I got up there and performed. I do impressions, and the funny thing is I do a very good impression of Inspector Clouseau, Peter Sellers. I never met Peter Sellers, but he is related to people over here. There's a lot of people over here that I know. There's one particular person who thinks he's a rock star. He isn't. And same age as me, but basically he tells everybody he's 26. It's crazy, absolutely crazy situation. And this is true. This is absolutely true. Wherever he goes to a gig, he uses my name. My name comes up all the time. And I said to him, I said, why do you use my name? And he said, because it opens doors. I said, I know it does. I said, I've got credibility and you haven't. And I said, that's the difference. That is what makes us leagues apart. There's been a lot of jealousy and everything else. I can't understand why people are jealous. You see, the world doesn't know anybody living, as far as I'm personally concerned. And if you want something, you go and get it. You go and fight for it. This is something else. There's another problem that I used to have, that I never used to eat vegetables for 28 years. I took one spoonful of the peas. It was a huge Pyrex dish full of them. I looked at it and I went green. I sat there I said, this is it. 4 hours I sat at that table, forcing it down my throat. And for the first hour, all I did was keep reaching every mouthful. And then I thought, I'm not going to have this. This is going to stop. And then I stopped. It stopped. I was seeing that sweat was pouring off me. I thought, what am I doing this to myself for? And then once I surpassed that, once I got over it, it was a mental block that was put in there when I was 5. You know, we can talk about it now because you're not eating. What they used to do is the dinner ladies used to force food down your throat and used to regurgitate and they used to force down your throat again. This was cabbage. It turned me off of everything. I just didn't want to know. People that have come around to see me and even to pick an autograph, they're nervous and I cannot understand it. I mean, I'm a human being like anybody else. I go to the loo, I eat, I sleep, I do everything. And I cannot understand this sort of barrier that's put between you and them.
Why are they nervous, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. You wasn't nervous, or was you?
We were a bit nervous.
Why? Because I treat everybody the same. I mean, I find that younger people, and I'm talking about younger people under the age of double figures, sort of, if you like, get infatuated with me because I don't treat them like children. I treat everybody the same, and that's from chairmen, managing directors. Everybody will be treated the same in my eyes. There is no difference whatsoever, because I mean the philosophy is we all come into this world with nothing and we go out with nothing. What we do while we're here is up to us, and if we can bring a little bit of happiness into somebody's life, that is a very, very important thing, Louise. If somebody takes the trouble to come up to you and say, could I have an autograph photograph, you should do it. I mean, if somebody came up to me today and said it, I would have done it because I've got them in my pocket. I've always got them. All I carry around is my actual photographs are in my pocket, which I've got a few of, which are carried round. And if anybody wants an autograph photograph, they're more than welcome to have one. There's a lot of jealousy in the business. I mean, let me put it bluntly, show business is one of the best businesses to be in, but if you want me to put it in plain terms, it is one of, and I don't know if I can allow to say this on screen, but it's one of the shittiest. There is so much backstabbing in this business, it's untrue. Consequently, if somebody is better than yourself or you're better than them, well, if somebody's better than you, good luck to them, and I will have one of yours, and this is a second, by the way, this is a second. Thanks, Louise. And basically, thanks, love. I've got that. Basically, everybody, there are a lot of talented people out there. There are a lot of people with a lot of talent, but the trouble is that it also takes guts, and the majority of people haven't got the guts. I've always been the sort of person, I mean, my mother would tell you this, that years and years ago I wouldn't even go out and do the car unless I had a suit on. I mean, I could walk into a hotel over here, which wasn't a first registered hotel, in a dinner suit and not look out of place. With somebody else doing it, look ridiculous. But it's the way you carry yourself. I got myself a ball worker, and within 10 weeks I went from a 34-inch chest to a 44-inch chest. And that's again through just sheer perseverance. I mean, if you want to achieve anything in this life, you've got to try. And no matter, and this is a fact, no matter what anybody says to you, no matter what they say, that you're rubbish, you're this, you're that, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. A young lady phoned me up, and she asked me out. And I was just talking to her, and she said, a friend of mine told me to give you a call. She dared me. I said, okay, fine, so we're talking. And she said to me, she was talking, she said, I've got a girlfriend. I said, no. I said, I haven't got time. So she turned around and said to me, she was going on, she said, well, do you want to take me out? I said, oh. I said, first of all, how old are you, darling? So she said, 18. I said, how old do you think I am? So she said, 27. I said, no, darling, I'm old enough to be your father. I was 40 at the time, and she couldn't believe it. If I can see somebody's got talent, I'll help them. And I won't, and if it happens to be a nice young lady, it's not to get her into bed either. I mean, okay, if that happens, then that's a bonus, obviously, but there again, if you fancy me or not. I mean, my first girlfriend was my teacher, and I was 5. And she came home for tea, and I was 5. I only came up to her kneecap, which was in those days was a very advantageous place to be. But I won't go into that. I mean, I've been engaged quite a lot of times, quite a few times. 5, I think, 5 or 6. But it takes a special type of person to be able to take this, because all of a sudden, from moving into being nobody, as far as they're concerned, I mean, I was known anyway, all of a sudden they're in the limelight, and to actually able to cope with it is a different matter. I mean, there was a previous fiancé many, many years ago, and I was actually going to be signed up by EMI, but it was called off at the last minute. It wasn't a joke, it was actually official. And the questions only asked her were incredible. How are you going to feel if he's actually performing at Caesar's Palace in front of 20,000 people and he's flirting with the audience, which is part of the job? Yeah. Are you going to get jealous? Are you going to get dressed when people throw their knickers at him? And the hotel keys, how are you, what's your reaction? And they grilled her. And as I said before, it does take a special type of person to be able to do this. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. I've had hotel keys put in my hand, thrown on the stage, I've had knickers thrown on the stage. Literally staring at me all night long and won't take their eyes off me. It's all down to the image and what they see. It's not down to you, it's what they see. A woman is looked upon completely different in show business. A woman is there as a sex object to be used, not for a talent. Does a person like you for you, or does a person like you for what you are doing or what you stand for? What do they fall in love with up on that stage?
But
if you want to know why I wear a ring on that finger, I will answer. I'll tell you. Self-preservation, because you can find yourself in a very awkward position you don't want to be in. So I'm going, I've got to go home to the wife, bye-bye. It's my ex-fiancée, one of them anyway. I mean, there's going to be a leading question here. Have you ever been married? Well, the answer to that is that I've never had the time. But I like jewellery. I like jewellery. I mean, lots of people wear jewellery and they're feminine. But I mean, to say that I was camp in any way is ridiculous, which I'm not. Far from it. People have turned around and said so, because of the amount of jewellery I wear. Oh, Stevie Ocean's bent, it must be a bloody joke. I had to perform in JB's, and when it was Big Cliff Bar, and it's all, but you do it. Keep your back to the wall, but you do it. That's what I did.
I want to eat this.
Oh, I've got a pair of shoes, Pierre Cardin, which are £250. And so I thought, well, at the end of the day, it looked right. It didn't look puffified. It didn't look anything like that. It looked right, and it suited me.
Yeah.
One thing I wouldn't do, and that is kiss another man. And I wouldn't do that for 1 million or 10 million. There's just no way that I would ever contemplate doing that. I'm a black belt first dan in karate, which I don't think has done me any. It hasn't done. I haven't actually had to use it over here because obviously, I mean, you're trained to kill with your hands and feet, and they are deadly weapons. But if I'm going to do something, I'll do it to the best of my ability, or I'd rather not do it at all. I wrote a poem which is actually going to be published. Songwriting and poetry are on par with each other, but I didn't realise I could actually do this, and this was a first for me anyway. It's called Feeling Useless, and over the last 2.5 years, I've gone through hell and come back from it, which a lot of people don't. I'll read it to you. I'm feeling useless as each day goes by, as I'm wasting away. One day goes into another, and another, and another. When will it end? Life was so good for me once, a full life, the sky's the limit. Aiming high, but now a twist of fate put pay to all my dreams, and my life is left so empty. An endless struggle it seems, if only there was a ray of hope, but alas, there is not. So where do I go from here? Who knows? The answer may be in the stars. That's it.
How long did that take you?
10 minutes. Literally 10 minutes. It's just something that is a natural gift that I've been given by him up there. It must have been. I don't know where it came from or how it actually developed, but it's there. And it's something that is there and that I use. And I use it to make people happy. I've worked with people like Jules McAllister, who was with the Fortunes. I've worked with Carl Denver. I've worked with Simon Riverne, who is a well-known person as well. There's quite a few. I mean, I started with a Billy Bean duo, and basically Billy was the sort of person who would sit there, he read dots. I mean, it was all regimental, and it was done the way that it should be done, as a muso should work. A lot of material that I do has got great meaning to me and great feeling. I think, I mean, lots of people can sing, Louise, but putting a song over is a different matter. There's lots of people I know that have got talent. They really have got talent, but they can't put a song over. And if you can't put a song over and put feeling and emotion into a song, you might as well be a robot. I mean, I've got a gift of singing like anybody without even trying. And this is what's incredible. I don't put it on. It's diction. I mean, when I sing My Way, I don't sing it. It's done with so much feeling. It has people. I've had people in tears, and it's like, and now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full and traveled each and every byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. The last cassette I did, which was 1994, I called this Golden Moments. In fact, today I think on my computer it's over 4,000 copies of each of these albums are sold in their own right, and that's without the use of a record deal or anything else. That's off my own back. There's a hell of a voice range. I mean, it can la 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 la, and then right up the scale. I mean, when I do Unchained Melody, and I go into the bit. Oh, my love, my darling, I hunger for your touch alone, lonely time, and time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love. Like that, you see what? The power there is, well, the one song that they rant and rave about. My version of Addicted to Love has been bandied around from Jersey as far as Australia. I've been told it's better than Robert Palmer's. And they said, we love it. And I said, it's your version is incredible. And I've never sung this live, and all I've wanted to is, I'll cry for you, I'll die for you, I'll give everything up for two, I'll die for you. And it goes right up, it goes, saved by the bell on your own carousel. See what I mean? And I can get up there. Now with that microphone, that's difficult, I tell you.
Can you tell me a bit about your song for Europe?
It almost made the last 8 when I last entered it. And I got a lovely letter back from Jonathan King saying, don't give up. I almost made the last 8, but not quite. If I made the last 8 and would have got through, we had a good chance of winning. And I would have performed it. And it wouldn't have bothered me in front of 200-300 million people. I would have got up on that stage and performed it. And I felt that there was no disgrace in going to get singing lessons at all. I mean, it helped me a lot. I mean, I've got a book at home because I speak Italian. It was easy for me to do it and to sing in Italian, and it was a piece of cake.
So can you give us a bit of a rendition?
Not in Italian at the moment, no, not something I can remember, but maybe I can do it with the lyrics. Do it with the lyrics that I've got at home in the book. It's difficult for me to do that part at this particular moment off the cuff because I would need the words to actually give you a decent rendition, but I could do it without me. I'd do it without music because majority of the time.
Last of just a note in a kind of operatic style, how you would have to sing.
Let's think. What was that one that I'm trying to think of? Let's have a go at this. I've done this for a long time.
The end of Nessun Dorma when he goes Vincero.
Oh yeah, that's.
Did you do that?
don't think that I would even chance that at this particular moment. But what I will do for you is a little bit of, let's see if I can still do it. Ave Maria. How's it go? Let me think. Can we come back to this? Because I've got a little bit of I've got a little bit of tightening in my throat, and it's not nerves. It's not nerves. I haven't done it for a very, very long. I've sung no opera for such a long time. Let's just have a go. A minute. Ooh, no. No. Can we cut for a second? Cut for a second, Claire. Show business was a nut and a half to crack. It was one of the hardest nuts I ever had to crack, and I had not just competition, but I had people that were trying to stop me. I reached a point, once I wanted to crack the nut that I couldn't crack after once did opportunity knocks twice, and I still didn't get through. I was really annoyed because I was told I was going to get through the second time. I did it at the Crest Hotel in Southampton. I did a really good performance. I used a radio mic, I danced, I didn't close my eyes, I faced everything, and I got a standing ovation. And even the crew from the BBC came over to me and said, "Stevie, that was terrific." And I got a letter from Stuart Morris saying, "I'm sorry, but no." Well, I applied to Sky. They were doing a talent show on Sky. I never actually ever got a reply. I also applied to New Faces on 2 occasions, and I only got a letter back from Richard Holloway saying thanks, but no thanks. The market in the UK in some respects seems to be very narrow-minded. They're looking for one thing and one thing only. I don't know why. I met Peters and Lee, and I saw them perform at the Inn on the Park quite a few years ago now, and they were great. They were great, but off stage, even though the guy was blind and everything else, he just did not. He didn't want to talk. Didn't want to talk at all. He completely shut himself away. He was there, if you like, not as a puppet on stage, but that's what he did, and that's all he wanted. So I met Renee and Renata. I mean, they knew me as well. The Mallons, the Crankies, oh God, there's loads of them. There are loads. John Inman, people from EastEnders. Adam Faith, I met, and far from disappointed with meeting Adam Faith. You know that you've made it in some respect when somebody gets up and does an impression of you, and Shane Ritchie done me to a T, and the place was in absolute uproar. I've had a lot of jokes played on me. Things that have really and truly upset me is when people have wound me up, they've phoned me up and said they're from record companies and they haven't been. Down at Caesar's Palace, which I performed at as well, which is now gone, it was then turned into the Fisherman's Wharf. Literally, I was singing Help Me Make It Through the Night on the staircase while it was taken up into the ceiling. Now the whole of the West End got to hear about this. They literally elevated the staircase and I went into the ceiling. I was laying flat in it. I thought they were going to kill me, actually, but I took it all light-hearted. You can't do that to anybody and get away with it, because either somebody's going to come down afterwards and punch you in the face, or they're just going to burst into tears. If you can't take a joke, you shouldn't be in show business. And if you can't take a joke, I think you shouldn't be alive. There's a serious side and a funny side to everybody. Everybody's got 2 sides to them. People used to say to me, "Why don't you set yourself up?" The joke about Stevie Ocean not being able to sing lost me a lot of work. I was taking, in fact, anything up to about between 5 and 7 milligrams a day, and I was spaced out my mind half the time, which I didn't like at all. And the first opportunity I got, when I sort of wanted to take the reins again, and it was through getting, and I'm not ashamed to say this either, because I never had anything like this in my life, and people laugh at things like this, but I had hemorrhoids, and it was through tablets. And on the second occasion that I was injected, I said that was it, no more painkillers, and that was the end of it. And I personally put a stop to it. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit it. Yes, I've been very close to nervous breakdown several times. People who can't achieve something or haven't got the guts to stand up and be counted and won't put themselves, if you like, if I will put it in a nutshell, put their head on the chopping block. They won't do it. They won't stand up and be counted. It's down to them. Last year I was a public relations officer for the Jersey Powerboat Club, and I've done a terrific job for them, from the point that they got a grant from tourism this year for £5,000. Didn't treat me very well, but that wasn't the point. I mean, I was a member of the Variety Club of Jersey, and on a technicality they got rid of me. I was also a member of Jersey Artists Money Club for years and years and years, and on a stupid technicality that was the end of that as well. I mean, criticism, I would accept constructive criticism within reason. And I mean, let's face it, I don't know everything, far from it. You never stop learning. I think that anybody who tells me they know it all should go out and jump off the nearest cliff, because you never know it all. Who wants to know it all? Because if you knew it all, what would be the point? All I wanted at the end of the day was to get a house here, to settle here properly as I wanted to settle, and then to go and tour the world and to do gigs. And it hasn't happened to me, unfortunately, but it might do in the future. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. There's been many, many people in the business, they've got depressed and they've turned to the bottle. There's no need for that. There's no need for that at all. Now why? Why can't they be themselves? There is a philosophy, the show must go on, but at the end of the day, it comes down to sheer guts. Can you do it?
Standing there for a smile to spare for the charms you adore. This gorgeous smile with a maiden smile, and the welcome will never forget. And now that you are free, will you dance with me to the liberation room?
You want one more?
Una más, por favor.
Right, all right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll do one more for you, another Sinatra number. In fact, when I was working, I did these back to back anyway. And then I sort of slid off the stage, you know, Benny. This is my way.
Now, the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I traveled each and every byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do, and I saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For there were times when I bit off more than I could chew. That's right, I forgot. More than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate up and spat it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was amazing. I never ever, as I said before, and I don't like repeating myself, but I never thought I'd be so interested in watching myself. And that is captivating, and I think you've done an excellent job. You've done more than an excellent job, and you had no fear. I told you your fears were completely unfounded, and I meant it.